Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, the show where we take a deep dive. We take a deep dive into ideas, concepts, sometimes a whole book, or even a single powerful question.
And today is no different. We're diving deep, and I mean deep, into a particularly insightful episode from another great podcast, Markus Spenger's Bleibeanders.
So if you're out there,
You're not here to survive, you're here to live on purpose. My name is Markus Spenger and I'm a high performance coach. And within this show, we're going to reflect on purpose, on clarity, on focus in your life. So enjoy this episode reflecting my content from the Bleibeanders podcast from Austria. And if you really like the show, well, hit the subscribe button and leave also a comment there, and talk to you soon. And now let's have fun with the rest of the show.
juggling it all, pushing limits in your career, leading a team, building something of your own, this one's for you.
You know, that drive for clarity, focus, that elusive balance we're all striving for.
Absolutely, always searching for that edge. Well, Marcus really hit on something that resonated with me, a simple but profound principle. You might have heard it before, but are we really living it? Sharing is caring, giving it is living.
Right off the bat, I love how he doesn't just take that as a given, like some feel-good slogan.
Yeah, he digs deeper.
He starts by asking, is sharing always good? Is it inherently good? It's a great place to start, challenging those assumptions.
It really gets you thinking, and then he takes us straight into his own experiences to illustrate the point. He talks about starting out early in his career as a photographer and how he got into affiliate marketing.
Which, for anyone who hasn't encountered that term before, it's basically...
It's like recommending something you love.
Right.
You think it's genuinely great, and you share a link so other people can check it out.
Exactly. And if someone buys through your link, you get a little something, a small commission.
So Spenger was doing this, mainly through Amazon, adding links to his photography descriptions. But here's the thing. Those descriptions were already incredibly detailed and valuable.
He was giving away the how-to, the exact technical settings he used to capture those amazing images.
Yeah, basically sharing his secret sauce.
Yeah.
And along with that, he provided an easy way for people to get the same gear if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like a win-win.
Yeah.
Great information, easy access to the tools, and maybe he makes a little something for his effort.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Here's the catch. He actually got pushback. Negative reactions, specifically because of those affiliate links. People took issue with the fact that he might be profiting from sharing his expertise.
That's fascinating. And it really forced him to examine his own perspective, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. He asked himself a powerful question. If the roles were reversed, if he was the one benefiting from the detailed info and the convenience of a link, would he begrudge the person who created it a small commission if he decided to buy? And his answer was a resounding no.
He realized it was about the value exchange, right? Someone puts in the effort to create something helpful. Why shouldn't they benefit if others find it useful and choose to purchase through their recommendation?
Exactly. And this really resonated with me because I think we've all been there. Have you ever hesitated to share something truly valuable, maybe a helpful resource, a great contact, even a brilliant idea, simply because you knew there might be some personal gain down the line? I know I have.
It makes you really think about those internal barriers, those little voices that say, oh, but what will people think?
Yeah, or am I just trying to permit myself here? But then again, isn't the ultimate goal to help others, to contribute something positive? And if you happen to benefit in the process, is that inherently a bad thing?
Food for thought. Definitely something to chew on.
Now, Spenger doesn't stop there. He takes us further down his professional path into the world of direct sales.
Direct retrieve, as they call it in Austria, which is actually a recognized trade designation there.
Right. It's not just any casual selling. It's a whole system, a structured approach. Think Tupperware parties, but often on a much larger scale. You're building relationships, creating networks, sometimes even assembling a sales team.
So how did Spenger get involved in this world?
Well, he was introduced to it by his then-girlfriend, and it was through a U.S.-based company focused on, get this, sustainable products. This was a key factor for them, the whole eco-conscious angle.
Okay, interesting. And I'm guessing this leads to another one of those aha moments.
You bet. He tells this story, after they parted ways, about needing to restock one of these products he'd been using. He contacted a friend, still involved with the company, and ended up buying a 5-month supply, a significant purchase.
5 months worth? That's a decent chunk of change.
And crickets? Neither his friend or anyone else involved in the sale followed up, No, hey, how's that product working out? No attempt at cross-selling, nothing.
Wow, especially coming from a sales background, that must have been baffling.
Totally. It was this stark contrast to his own experience when he got involved in direct sales. Suddenly, he was the one facing negativity, skepticism,
Yeah.
almost like suspicion from some people who saw him trying to profit.
So it's like one minute he's criticized for potentially earning a little from affiliate links. The next, he's under scrutiny for actively selling. It really highlights the different ways we view these things, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It makes you wonder about those preconceived notions we all carry around. And it begs the question, for you, the listener, have you ever felt hesitant to actively promote something you genuinely believed in? Maybe fearing judgment or pushback? Or have you ever been on the receiving end, feeling a little wary when someone you know starts selling something?
It's a fascinating dynamic, and Spenger goes on to share a third experience that offers a completely different perspective.
Yeah, this one's a positive one.
He talks about his time as a process manager in a PMO, a project management office.
Now, PMOs can be these kind of central hubs in organizations, coordinating projects, managing resources, really keeping things running smoothly.
So what did he do that was so different in this role?
Well, he took the initiative to organize regular online calls, maybe once or twice a month, to share important updates and information with all the project managers and their teams.
Just keeping everyone in the loop? Fostering that shared understanding.
Exactly, creating that central point of contact and a space for discussion. And guess what? The response was overwhelmingly positive.
People appreciate it.
Oh yeah, big time. They valued the effort, the clarity he brought, the sense of connection. He even received positive feedback after leaving the company, with people specifically mentioning those calls he initiated.
So this third experience really stands out from the first two. The context seems to have made all the difference.
Right. In the PMO environment, sharing information was seen as a valuable contribution, whereas the affiliate links and the direct sales activities were met with, well, more mixed reactions. So it really makes you wonder, what do you think made the difference here? Was it the nature of what was being shared, information versus a product? Was it the perceived motivation behind the sharing? Or was it simply the context and the existing relationships?
Really good questions to consider. And Spenger then takes us into another intriguing aspect of this whole sharing dynamic, the receiving end.
Yeah, because it's not always so simple, is it? Even when someone is genuinely trying to share something helpful or insightful.
Exactly. He points out that sometimes we, as the givers, struggle to have what we're offering fully received, whether it's information, a helping hand, even a compliment. Or maybe the receiver themselves has trouble taking it in. He poses a direct question. Do you generally like it when people share information that is interesting to you, especially good information? It seems obvious, right? Of course. But then he digs into why our internal reactions can be much more complex than that.
Yeah, sometimes that knee-jerk reaction isn't, thank you, this is great. It's more like, let me poke some holes in this.
He talks about this tendency we have to almost immediately look for flaws, for what's wrong with the information, almost as if our brains are programmed to find the catch. And he even suggests this might be a remnant of our education systems, where critical analysis and identifying weaknesses are often emphasized.
Always looking for that counter-argument instead of first absorbing the main idea. It's like we're conditioned to be skeptical, to evaluate and dissect before appreciating.
He briefly mentions this concept of a news diet, which he's going to explore more deeply in another episode. But it ties into this idea of being intentional about what information we consume, focusing on what enriches and expands our understanding, not just what we can tear apart.
It's a great reminder to check ourselves. What's our default mode when someone shares something they think is valuable? Are we genuinely open to receiving it, or are we already looking for the flaws?
It makes you wonder how many potentially valuable insights we miss out on because of that automatic skepticism.
And this all leads into another thought-provoking idea. Spenger brings up that age-old saying, giving is more blessed than receiving. He talks about how, for some of us, that might be a really difficult concept to fully embrace because we're so ingrained with this expectation of reciprocity, this notion that one hand washes the other.
It's that unspoken rule, right? If I give something, I expect something in return, whether it's a favor, a gesture, recognition, something.
Exactly. And Spenger offers a different perspective, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, the immediate tangible return isn't always the point. He hints at a belief in a sort of ripple effect, a broader principle, where consistently sharing good things and contributing positively to the world will eventually lead to positive outcomes, even if we can't directly trace them back to the initial act of giving.
It's a longer-term view, a belief in a kind of karma, maybe.
It's definitely a shift in mindset, moving away from that transactional give-to-get mentality and embracing a more expansive view of contribution.
It makes you examine your own motivations, doesn't it? When you give something, when you share something, what's driving you? Are you truly giving freely, or are there subconscious expectations lurking beneath the surface?
And this leads beautifully into Spenger's next point, which is especially relevant for anyone in a leadership position or running their own business, that common trap of making decisions for others.
Assuming we know what's best, right?
Exactly. He talks about how easy it is to get caught up in our own heads, crafting a narrative and convincing ourselves that we know what someone else needs, wants, or will do without actually bothering to ask them. Whether it's not seeking input from a team member or preemptively shutting down a potential client's concerns before they even voice them, we're essentially robbing people of their agency, their ability to participate in the decision-making process.
It's that classic mistake of selling past the sale.
Yeah. He even brings in this wisdom from sales training: don't make your customer's decision, meaning don't assume you know their answer before you've presented the information, the opportunity, the question. And this goes way beyond just sales, doesn't it?
It's about empowering others, creating space for genuine dialogue and collaboration.
And avoiding that subconscious trap of anticipating a negative response, which can prevent us from even extending the offer, sharing the resource, or starting the conversation in the first place. We talk ourselves out of potential opportunities because we're so afraid of hearing no.
So much to unpack there. Really gets you thinking about how often we might be limiting ourselves and others through our own assumptions.
Absolutely. And then, to bring it all home, Spenger throws out this powerful question: what do you really have to lose by sharing, by giving? It's like a direct challenge to that ingrained belief that life is all about accumulating and holding on tight to what we have, whether it's possessions, knowledge, opportunities.
It's a different way of looking at things, isn't it?
Completely. He's encouraging us to shift our focus to the impact we make, the positive ripples we send out, the contributions we leave behind. And he argues that once you've shared something, once you've given something with genuine intention, you're no longer responsible for how the other person reacts. The act itself, the sharing, the giving, that's what matters.
It's freeing in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all circles back to that beautiful principle of sharing is caring, giving is living. So as we wrap up this deep dive, inspired by Markus Spenger's brilliant insights, we've really explored the nuances of sharing, the motivations behind giving, and the importance of empowering others by letting go of assumptions and embracing open communication.
And for you, the listener, the key takeaway is this. Are you truly open to both giving and receiving? Are you approaching both with a sense of generosity, a focus on the potential for positive impact rather than fear of judgment or expectation of immediate return?
So here's a little challenge inspired by Spenger himself. Identify one small but valuable piece of knowledge, a helpful resource, or even a genuine compliment that you can share with someone in your network today without expecting anything in return. Just take the action, observe the ripple effect, and see what happens.
And if you're hungry for more of these thought-provoking conversations, we highly recommend checking out Markus Spenger's Blabianders podcast. You won't regret it.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and until next time, keep exploring, keep sharing, and keep giving.
Ready to stop chasing and start living? Book your free clarity call at markusspenger.com or download your free clarity report to gain focus, build inner strengths, and live with direction and purpose. Because, you know, life is too short to just function. It's time to lead from within. Be bold, be clear, be you.